You've heard me mentioning it the last couple weeks, and I am so excited to finally announce my Tapping to Massive Money and Abundance program. It is now live. This course is going to be an absolute game changer for you. This 7-day course is so simple and so quick to fit into even the busiest of schedules. Each daily lesson only takes 10 to 15 minutes, and all you have to do is watch my pre-recorded video and follow along with the prompts by tapping on each of the specific body parts, which I thoroughly lay out and explain for you. This course is going to fully reprogram your limiting beliefs, rewire your old money paradigms as we shift into bigger, better, and new ones. We're going to recondition your thought patterns around wealth so that you believe and your body believes that you are worthy of all the money in the world that you desire. You are worthy of all the freedom and abundance that you are so desperately craving. It is your time to claim this reality for yourself now. I'm going to help you with this incredibly easy and very affordable course to make your wildest dreams a reality in 2023. If you are ready to get out of your own way and remove some of the biggest money blocks, then this course is for you, and you are going to want to grab it today. Don't waste another precious moment being held back any longer. The link for this course is in my show notes, so make sure that you get signed up today. Welcome to the Empowered Podcast with Deanna Merlino, an all-encompassing personal development show where I will be sharing with you just how to transform yourself into the best version of you, both inside and out. From wellness, entrepreneurship, spirituality, and manifestation, I'll be showing you exactly how to live your best life. I will be keeping it as real and raw as it gets. So get ready to peel back the layers and really transform yourself under the surface. Because nothing is better than finding your purpose and living this life as your true, authentic self. Welcome back, Empowered fam. Excited to be with you guys today. And somehow I completely messed up this month's schedule. So I'm sorry to tell you, we do not have an amazing guest today. It's just me. But I will announce who our guest is for next week at the end of today's episode. So stay tuned. I actually have like all sorts of stuff to tell you all about. So today will be a fun episode. So just because of me wanting to have this month all about wellness, I've actually had a interesting past week or so myself. So I have all sorts of things to tell you about, all wellness related, that will fill up today's episode. So if you have not listened to the past couple episodes, go ahead and tune into them. Just all the wellness stuff that I'm recommending and up to myself this year. This year for me is all about just wellness for myself and self-care, and taking myself off the back burner, because having a baby, he became my most important focus, obviously. And in that, I set myself down somewhere. So I'm picking myself back up. So let's just jump into what I have been up to. I have 3 big things that I'm going to talk about today as far as wellness habits and self-care things that I have been up to. All pretty interesting, all in the holistic realm. The last one is pretty interesting. We're going to get a little out there. So yeah, enjoy today's ride. So the first thing that I did was womb healing. And so I didn't know a ton about what that even really was. Like, I've heard the term being thrown out. I've never looked into it. I hadn't experienced it. And it was super wild because it was just like one random day, and I just kind of got the message like, you need to do womb healing. So I'm like, okay, know nothing about this. Let me Google. And so Udemy is a platform that I have my Reiki course on, and it's where I take a lot of courses. And because I am comfortable with it and trust it, it was my first go-to. I'm like, let me just see if there's like a womb healing course on here, because there's a lot of holistic practitioners that teach on there. And there happened to be a discount. So I found a course for super cheap, and I took the womb healing course, and it was actually only supposed to be 2 hours long. So I was like, okay, I'm going to breeze through this. I did not realize how powerful and just how intense it was going to be for me. So I ended up breaking it into 3 sessions because it was just like too much for my system to handle. I'm very in tune with what feels right. Like I intuitively know what I need. So I broke it up. I knew when to stop. And I was like, okay, that was cool, whatever. Didn't think too much of it. Like I didn't really feel any differently. Not too much came up for me throughout the session. And then when I finished, I was just scrolling on Instagram, minding my own business. And I start bawling. I start screaming. I'm like letting out all of this trauma that I had to have been holding onto, all of these emotions that I had suppressed, all the different things. And I just knew to let it all out. And I felt phenomenal after, like so good. So then I was excited to do the next couple sessions. But the craziest thing is I had no idea. Like I totally know about, for the most part, like the new moon and the full moon. I don't know a ton about astrology or the zodiac stuff, like other than the basic, like I'm a Leo. I've looked up my rising and my moon, whatever. I don't even know what they are like by heart. Like I've written them down. I know that they're impactful, but I haven't been called to really dive into it. But anyhow, I'm telling you guys this because I found out after that was, I want to say that was the Cancer new moon, full moon, new moon. It was the Cancer new moon. And apparently that new moon is all about womb healing and healing our mothers, their traumas and healing like our lineage. So it was so crazy to me that I had no idea about any of this happening. And my body was called to do it, and I listened. So that's the really cool thing about when you get intuitively connected. We all have that within us, but we just don't listen to it or we shut it down. And the more we deny it, the more we can't hear it. So am so in tune that like I just heard the call to do it and I did it, and I was supposed to do it and I didn't even realize it. So I was not intending on talking about this, but just so you might be hearing that and saying like, I don't know diddly squat about the moon cycles and how can that mean anything? This is the best way that I'm going to be able to explain this to you. This is why it's important to be in tune with and listen to and learn about the new moon and the full moon and how that cycles in nature. Let me put this to you in the most logical way possible. We all know, and it is very scientifically proven, it is very well accepted that the moon completely affects the tides, the levels, when they rise, when they fall, that kind of thing, right? Well, what are we made up of? Mostly water, like 70 to 80% water. So if the moon is affecting the water of the earth, why would it not affect the water that's inside of us? So just like an easy way to wrap your head around something that's kind of out there. So that was my experience with that. I actually am feeling super called to hitting on womb healing at the next retreat. It is something that every woman needs to do. Sorry to my male listeners if you are hearing this, but I feel like it's really important for me to hit on this because here's the thing is that, and I learned this through this session, is we hold everyone else's energy that we pick up at any time in our womb space. And more importantly, what I did not know, which I think was why it hit me so heavy when I did do it, is that any unprocessed grief that we hold in our heart, that's where we hold our grief or feel our unprocessed grief, that has a straight line to our womb. And so it gets stored there. So how many times have you had something that upset you, hurt you, a loss? Like I in that moment knew like all of the grief that I hadn't processed with my dad that I just stuffed down sometimes by trying to stay busy losing him came out in that moment. And like, of course, stuff has happened to our moms that they probably haven't processed, especially because it's a totally different generation. That was still pretty much the generation of we don't talk about stuff. We just stuff it away and pretend it didn't happen. So super important to look into that. If anyone wants any more information about the course that I took to guide me through that, I'd be happy to give you that information. Okay, so moving on. After that, decided to do a therapy session called RTT. For anyone who doesn't know what RTT is rapid transformation therapy. So I just learned about this recently from Catherine Zankina, who you all know I reference all the time on the podcast, so the Manifestation Babe. And she actually brought on the doctor who created RTT I want to say, I could be way off here, but he was in therapy for like 50 years and he came up with a way to process trauma faster and specifically for child abuse or just like just sexual abuse, those kinds of things. And she actually has him on her podcast if you want to hear it. It's a super long episode. I actually didn't finish it because my brain processes really fast and he talked too slow for my liking. But I learned enough and I've heard her talk so highly about it that I was super interested. And she's been talking about it ever since she started doing it. Her and her husband do it. And she did say that like some sessions, especially with like, she goes directly to him or he has some people directly under him that he specifically has trained. And she has said those sessions can cost like 2,000 plus per session. So like it's not super available to everybody. So I was like, oh, I'd love to do that someday. I want to know more about it. And actually, I'll just announce something right now because I'm super excited. So these tie in together. So bear with me. I was interviewed and ended up getting accepted as a practitioner, a holistic practitioner on a treatment site called heal.me. So we've all heard of, I'm assuming, BetterHelp or Better Health, which is like an online psychology therapy platform where you can do online therapy. And so this is the same concept and it is for holistic healing. So I got accepted onto here. So anytime I'm doing sessions anymore moving forward, I'm going to have you guys book off of that. I'm actually going to add that to the show notes. I have all sorts of offerings. I'm super excited. I can do them in person and virtually. So anyhow, once I got approved onto this platform, I was like, hey, let me just see if anyone on here offers RTT. I looked, same thing. A lot of the sessions were like 2,000, 1,800 bucks per session, whatever. And I found this sweet little old lady. She is the cutest. Her name is Fran. I love her. And she offers sessions for 80 bucks an hour. It was actually 90 minutes. So 80 bucks a session. I booked her right away, decided to do it. And I had the most incredible session. It was really powerful. It was really painful. It was really hard. I'll say that because you go so in depth and you go right to the source of your issues. Like if you are dealing with all the things, depression, anxiety, lack of zest for life, there anything, like if you're struggling with weight loss, if you're struggling with building wealth, whatever it is, there is a root cause to that. This is what I love about what I do is that when you go to the doctor, when you go the medical route, which absolutely has its place, I'm not knocking that whatsoever, and they work best when done together. But a lot of times they're looking to just make the symptoms better. We're going to put a Band-Aid on it. I love that holistically and doing all of these healing therapies and modalities, we want to get to the root of things. And so that's what RTT does. So what the session starts with is you get hypnotized and she allows for you to dip into your subconscious. And the way everything's worded and the sessions built is that with whatever it is you want to heal, and I just wanted to heal a lot of my traumas, especially my past abuses, sexual traumas, that kind of thing. That's what I've been really called to looking at. And I've been pretty open and honest with you all about that. But it took me right to the root, 3 specific scenarios that happened that I needed to process. And so it was painful because I had to look, I mean, like I was submersed in the moment. Do not let that scare you though. Like I know so many of us don't want to relive these things. And here's the thing, whether you are aware of it or not, you're reliving it in your body every day, every second, all the time. And it's wreaking havoc on you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all the ways. It is the root of all your issues. So in one session, I was able to look at it with professional help and now it's gone. Like literally at the end of it, you flush it down the drain. And it's like, yeah, do I know what happened to me? But it's almost like seeing it as it happened to someone else. Like it no longer affects me. The way I best explained it was after that session, it was like I am writing not a new chapter. This isn't at the start of a new chapter. This is the start of a new book. And for the first time in my life, I am the only author of my own book. I get to make the decisions. There isn't anyone co-writing it underneath. There's no ghostwriter. It's me. So I highly recommend, again, if anyone wants information, I will totally tell you all about Fran. She's the sweetest. I was so comfortable. It's been fantastic. And there is 2 weeks worth of like aftercare, essentially, like an integration period. So I'm still in that period right now to really solidify the reprogramming of my nervous system, my mind, consciously and subconsciously, so we make permanent changes. And then the last thing I want to talk about for you all is I had mentioned it that I was going to this like crazy Reiki massage package thing, and I went to it. So it was like a total package. That's the best way I can explain it, of all these different modalities wrapped in one. So it was local, and she learned massage and these modalities in Hawaii, and she came back here. And so there was reflexology, there was a foot soak, which there's meaning behind that. And then I had a deep tissue massage, but it wasn't like a typical deep tissue massage. It didn't hurt and I wasn't sore after. But it really is rooted in pulling out toxins, pulling out trapped energy, all the stuff I love. And then she did rainbow Reiki, which I will be totally honest, I'd never heard of it before. Even though I'm a Reiki master, I am trained in the traditional, very original Reiki, which everything else is built off of. But this was called Rainbow Reiki. I think there's like, I don't know, 30 to 50 different types of Reiki that have been created since the original was rediscovered. And so I was having my session. I could feel the energy moving super easily. It was a very powerful, very incredible session. And so for anyone who doesn't really know about any of this stuff, a lot of time there's different types of clairs. So when the most common clair, let me just make this make sense to you, would be when you think of a psychic, they are known as clairvoyant. There's clairaudient, there's claircognizant, there's all different types of clairs. Me, intuitively, there's clairtuitive. Like there's literally so many different kinds. We all have these abilities, but we've turned them off or denied them, or they're dormant for all of us. And they're all in there, but some are more stronger than other ones. So my intuition is really strong, and I'm able to sense and see energy. So a lot of times when I am deep in meditation, when I'm having a session, when I'm giving a session, I can literally see energy. And so it looks like colors in my mind's eye. And it was crazy because when I did this session with her, I could literally see the energy swirling, and it was freaking rainbow colored. Like it was literally rainbow colored. So I'm like, holy crap, like just wild. And it was such a cool experience. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say a couple other things happened for me. I kept getting a vision of like a cheetah and a vision of the tree of life, both of which I know a lot about the tree of life, super powerful, super meaningful. I looked into what a cheetah meant, and it was like a very masculine energy animal that loves the sun, thrives on sun energy. And it just made very much sense into where I'm at. I've also been open with you all that I'm really trying to shift out of that masculine energy and go into my feminine flow. And it just made a ton of sense for me. But so yeah, these are the things, the therapies that I've been up to. And because this is a month on wellness, I wanted to share you all with that. And again, if you have any questions, I don't believe that she practices virtually. So if you're in the area, if you know me personally, I would love to give you her information. But if not, just search online if you're interested in any of this. There are practitioners everywhere. And we all deserve healing, and we all deserve to like come back to ourself, come back to our knowing, build that intuition. It makes life so much easier and so much more fun. So I just wanted to share that all with you. And I think I mentioned everything that I wanted to cover for you guys. So I will wrap up. This is getting to be a longer episode than I want as usual. But I want to announce who our guest is next week. I am so excited. We are having on Annie Graft. If you do not know her, look her up. This is really exciting for me because she was probably the first person that I became obsessed with in my network marketing company. And I actually mentioned that I got to meet her when I was in Vegas. And now she's going to be on the podcast. She is super big on wellness. And next month is going to be all about entrepreneurship. So I'm combining the both as we wrap up January and talking about both wellness and entrepreneurship, her journey and how she really melds the two together. So super exciting. And the last thing that I want to bring up as we wrap up today is moving forward. If you are to send a screenshot of a review that you make on the app, whatever you're listening to this on, whether it's Spotify, whether it's through your iPhone, whatever, take a screenshot of it. You're going to have to write the review. Make sure you screenshot it, or it's going to take a couple of days to show up and it's going to get lost. So screenshot, email it to me. You can DM me or email it. I'll make sure my email is in the show notes. And by leaving a review and sending that to me, we will send you over a guided meditation as a thank you. I really want to start building up this platform and being able to reach more people. And I know that reviews is the way to do it. So as a thank you, you will get that guided meditation. And what are you getting? You will be able to connect with your higher self to get specific guidance to manifest whatever it is that you desire. So it's going to help you to be able to tap into your own intuition and get the answers that you've been looking for to create the life that you want. So super exciting. A thank you from me for your love and support as always. So do that. And I hope you have the best day, the best week. And I will see you all next week with Annie on the podcast. Love you all. Take care. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. If you want to find out more, you can follow me on Instagram at Empowered with Deanna and my personal page, Fit Deanna Lolita. You can also visit me on my website, which is deannamerlinofit.com. Make sure that whatever platform you guys are listening on, please rate and subscribe. And this means so much to me. It's going to help get me out there to help so many other people. I'm so grateful that you're here with me on this journey of wellness and self-empowerment. I cannot promise that it will always be easy, but I do know that it will always be worth it. Stick with me, and together, let's start living as the version of us that we were meant to be. Because the world is waiting for your gifts, and you deserve to live the life of your wildest dreams and beyond. So friends, let's get empowered.